Are modern Gibsons actually any good? Hey guys, I'm Clarke, and recently I purchased this rather lovely 60s Les Paul Standard in the limited edition Viper Blue finish. Isn't she beautiful? I absolutely adore it and I love playing it, but that is not to say it's perfect. Now, for those of you who have followed me for a while, you might be already aware that I did work for Anston's Music for about 6 years, so I have dealt with Gibson myself, and I've heard every single complaint there is about modern Gibsons. Now that I own one, and more importantly have done many gigs with it, I thought now was a great opportunity to address the most common complaints I heard about modern Gibsons, which should be on screen now. Okay, first up, the wood quality. Now, obviously, I'm no carpenter, I'm no luthier, so all I can base this on is how the guitar sounds. And honestly, I've never known a guitar to sustain like this. Obviously, that is what Les Pauls are famous for, and I must say, it does live up to it. Now, coupled with this, something that I noticed pretty soon after purchasing it is just how resonant it was. To the point where I was actually sitting on a sofa with my girlfriend watching TV, I was just noodling on my brand new guitar, and she stopped me to say, "I think your phone's ringing." What she was actually hearing was the guitar vibrating so much because it really is that resonant. Obviously, there's very little I can do to relay that through a YouTube video, so you have to take my word for that one, but it really is a very alive instrument. So whatever you want to say about wood quality and where Gibson are sourcing wood, and to be honest, all guitar companies are sourcing wood with limitations that now exist, I cannot say a word against the quality of the sounds this piece of wood is generating. Now, probably the most common complaint that I ever heard is about Gibson's build quality or quality control. Now, I'm lumping these two into one point simply because you could argue the quality control should catch problems, but you could also argue that whoever's building them shouldn't have introduced those problems in the first place. So I'm lumping the two together. So with this one, there are some weird things. Now, I'll try and get a close-up on screen now, but essentially the pickup surrounds match the same colour as the poker chip, and the switch tip matches the same colour as the scratch plate. Those two colours are not the same shade of cream. So the most noticeable bit is the scratch plate, and is obviously right next to the pickup surrounds, they don't actually match. I don't know how well that's going to come across on screen, but I assure you it is the case. Similarly, when I was trying this guitar out, I tried another one of the same colour, and that one had a different switch colour. I later on saw various other Les Paul standards, and they all had the different cream for the switch tip, except my one. So evidently, the other colour was the one it was supposed to be, but my one doesn't. So that means whoever built it, or whoever put the switch tip on it, took one and put it on despite the fact it didn't match, which doesn't bother me in the slightest. I actually prefer this colour. But for a guitar that's over £2,000 retail price, I would kind of expect a bit more consistency in the way they're made. Now, some people will argue that the traditional approach means there's less consistency. I don't know, surely you have the parts for that guitar, and those are the parts that are used for each model. I don't know. Before I get on with the next part of the video, if you're interested in winning one of the pedals on screen now for free, you're gonna wanna hear this. Throughout September this year, I'm doing another Lucky Dip pedal giveaway so that one lucky person can win whichever one of those pedals they want. All you've got to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and comment below whichever one of those pedals you'd most want. You can only comment once per video, but there's nothing to stop you going to one of the other videos throughout September this year and commenting there as well. So remember to subscribe to the channel and comment below which one of those 5 pedals you'd most like to win. And at the end of the month, I'll pick one of you at random and I will send you the pedal that you picked. Other parts of the guitar, for example, the way the neck joins the body, you can just feel that join, but it is so marginal. I can't knock Gibson for that. This is something that I think I've seen most commonly on guitars when there's slight issues with the way they're put together, but I must say Gibson have absolutely nailed it on this one, so I can't take that as a word against them. It is a two-piece back. Now, I'm given to understand that's actually quite common now, but I've never personally seen it or noticed it. It doesn't bother me because unless you look at it like this, you're never going to see. And like I said earlier on, the sustain and the tone and the resonance of it is brilliant. So if you're someone that wants to see that perfect one piece of wood at the back, then that's actually not how at least all of them are made. But I can't say it's caused me any issues at all actually playing the instrument. As to how the guitar is set up and how it plays, it was absolutely brilliant right out of the box. I didn't actually have to tweak anything. I chose to for my personal preference. The action was, believe it or not, too low for me, which isn't a complaint I would have expected to have for an instrument, but it just made it a bit harder to get under the strings for bends. So I actually raised the action just that little bit, but there was nothing wrong with how it was set up initially. It was intonated brilliantly. There was no buzzing or anything like that. I think Gibson did an absolutely brilliant job on that. Now, another one is how they sound in terms of the pickups. A lot of people say that the Gibson pickups are no good. I disagree. Because of having heard these things, I was sort of expecting when I get it and plug it into a loud rig, I might think, you know what, the pickups need changing. But no, the pickups sound absolutely brilliant. They are Gibson's Burst Bucker 61s. Absolutely adore them. It sounds exactly how a Les Paul should. So I can't honestly agree that Gibson pickups are no good because I think they sound fantastic. The only issue I can really say about the pickups is something that's coming up for me quite a lot with pickups is that the neck one on this guitar is quite microphonic. So when you get relatively high gain and at gig volumes, it does want to squeal. Usually for me, it's the bridge pickup, but on this guitar, bridge pickup's absolutely fine. It's the neck pickup. Now, when I've had these issues in the past, I have been able to solve it entirely by having the pickups re-wax potted. So I think all it is the cavities in here aren't entirely filled with wax as they should be. So it's a minor thing. I can take the pickup out, get it re-waxed, and it will, I think, be all fine. But that is the only thing that I've noticed with the pickups. Okay, the next thing that I've often heard is Les Pauls. They're backbreakers. They're so heavy, particularly with 70s ones, I'm told. Obviously, this is a modern one, not a 70s one, but this one is extremely light. This one weighs 9 pounds. I can't remember off the top of my head what that is in kilograms, but I'll put it on screen now. Now, people argue about this because they say, oh, it hurts my back to play a heavy Les Paul. I want a really light one. Then you get the other side of the argument when people say, oh, but it's a big solid chunk of wood, it should be heavy. If it's light, you've got a really naff bit of wood. I am here to dispel those rumours. This guitar, like I said earlier on, resonates so well. It's acoustically really loud. It feels alive to play. It has a beautiful tone, beautiful sustain, and it is the lightest Les Paul standard that I've played. 9 pounds, like I said, so I don't believe there's any truth in those rumours. There might be more to do with certain bits of wood resonate better than others. I do not believe it is as simple as heavy resonates better than light. So I'm not saying I'm an expert in this field, but I right here have a brilliantly resonant Les Paul that is also nice and light. Now, this next one is a complaint I've heard about all Les Pauls, not just modern, just Les Pauls, and that is they don't stay in tune, particularly that pesky G string. Now, the G string being out of tune is a common problem with guitars in general. I'm not going to pretend I know the science as to why, but it is a thing. I believe it has something to do with the break angle, which is why it's a particular problem on these types of headstocks. But I have to say, this guitar stays in tune just as well as any other guitar. I'm not sitting there having to retune between every single song. It seems to hold its tune pretty well, even when going from inside to outside when we're touring. It comes out the case being pretty much in tune. Honestly, if I'd not heard that complaint many times from people who own Les Pauls, it wouldn't have even occurred to me because I have not had that issue with this guitar at all. And the final criticism that I've heard with Les Pauls is the scratch plate looks terrible. They look way better without the scratch plate. I'm going to let you guys decide that one because honestly, I can't decide myself. So all in all, this I think is a fantastic guitar, and I think Gibson have done themselves proud. They have demonstrated that I can't obviously guarantee just because this one guitar is great, that all Gibsons are great. I am not trying to pretend that. All I'm trying to prove is that the criticism surrounding Gibson or modern Gibsons isn't necessarily justified. I think you should approach Gibson the same way you approach any guitar brand, which is try not to buy blind if you can. By that I mean get the guitar in your hands, plugged in, and play it yourself. If you think it's a great guitar, it's a great guitar. If you think it's a terrible guitar, it's a terrible guitar for you. It doesn't matter. If you like it, and that's it. What you love might be a terrible guitar to someone else, and there's nothing wrong with that. Guitar, just like all musical instruments, are personal. If you have any questions on this subject or any experience yourself, please do let me know down below. I'll try to answer any questions that you guys might have. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon ticks to be notified of new videos. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.